Welcome back to Williams World. To all of my subscribers, thank you. If you're new to my channel, please hit that thumbs up button. Consider subscribing as well. I appreciate you all. Thank you for joining me for this review of Young M.A's new debut album, Herstory. Excuse me, in the making. That's right, I just burped on camera. You get it raw, you get it live, you get it real, uncut. Young M.A, most famous for her hit single, Ooh. A few years ago was released, set the clubs on fire, set the radio on fire. An absolute phenomenal hit. And from there, began to drop other singles, dropped other small EPs or projects. But this is her first official studio album, Herstory in the making. And it starts out really strong. This intro, Mercy, or No Mercy, excuse me, on Herstory in the making is a very strong start to an album. It's very epic. It has instrumentation that you're not necessarily used to hearing from a Young M.A record. Most of what you hear from or had heard from Young M.A was pretty much percussion based or 808 drum based. Not a whole lot of instrumentation, pianos and strings or things of that nature. So it was a nice change of pace for her, and much like the Baby's intro, a change of pace, not something you necessarily are used to hearing from her. And in an interview, she even actually described how she purposely created a sound on this album that people weren't going to be expecting from her. In several different songs, she took a different approach than she normally does, which is to be expected, and what I kind of expected from Kirk. We didn't really get that, but Kirk is still decent nonetheless. But we're not here to talk about Kirk. We're here to talk about Herstory in the making. They just have some similarities. So, it starts off strong with No Mercy, and then I think the next song is Big, if I'm not mistaken. Big fan, no pun intended, of the Big record. I think that's one of her strongest songs on the album. And from there it just continues to assert itself as something that's definitely going to be played in the club strongly. It's definitely got some hood bops. It's definitely got some club bops. Y'all have to excuse the background noise. I have small children. So all in all, the album itself, I think, is a really good, decent piece of work. I personally believe that albums should have some conciseness, if I can create a word. I'm not sure if that's a word, but they should be concise for the most part. 12 tracks at the most, maybe 14. I'm on this thing where I like even numbers. I don't like odd numbers, so I hate when people do 13 tracks or 11 tracks. So I think 12 is the magic number. Even if you go less than that, 10, that's cool too. So to see her drop a 20-track EP or LP, I really was a little... I just kind of questioned whether or not this is going to be a really good piece of work, because there's so much to consume and there's so much on here that it's no way it can be a cohesive, work. It's going to be random. It's going to be stuff from all over the place. They record these albums from one year to the next. These albums most albums aren't created within the same week or month. Some are, but most of the time, music on the albums, when we hear the music, it's new to us, but it's old to them. They got songs on there from 2 years ago, 3 years ago. The song they just did last night, So you got different emotions, you got different tones, your voice has changed somewhat. So it's always interesting when I see someone put that many songs on the album, and I think it's kind of a red flag if you're doing that, because although I understand that she wanted to give the fans something special and give the fans basically 3 years worth of material, I guess it probably would have been better off just being more concise or being shorter in length. Like I said, about 10 or 12 tracks. She stretches herself. She goes beyond of what you expect Young M.A to be, and she lyrically is asserting herself as one of the best young lyricists in the game. And I've always liked that about Young M.A is, you know, she can give you the club hits like Ooh, or, you know, Petty Wop, but she also can show you her versatility. The song that I actually favor more than any is Stubborn Ass. And because it's a great change of pace, another change of pace for what she normally does, where she's painting a picture, she's telling a story about being in a relationship and the ups and downs and the trials and the issues you face being in a romantic relationship. And I think she did an excellent job. I think the way that she attacked the beat, rode the beat, the way that she, you know, decided to use her cadence kind of off beat almost, but on beat, I thought that was really neat. So that was one of my favorites. Stubborn Ass was one of my favorites. And I found out that she had released a video for it months ago, way back at the top of the year, featuring Bernice Burgos. I hope I'm saying her name right. And they were close friends. She was able to get her in the video playing the love interest. And so, you know, that type of versatility from Young M.A is really great. She has other songs like Sober Thoughts and other songs that just really push the agenda of, hey, I'm an artist, you know, I'm not. And one of the interviews I watched about her, she was saying she's a really bright young woman, and she was really saying like, hey, you know, I'm smart, I know how to play the game, I'm gonna give you guys some things you don't expect from me. And I think that's important. If you want longevity in this game, you have to be an artist. You can't just want to rap. You can do that, but I just don't think, if you want to be considered amongst the greats, so you want to have longevity, your career is going to last a lot longer if you are a great writer, storyteller, if you know how to comprise a theme of an album, you know, and if you know how to do those types of things, and you're a great lyricist, and you know you pick production really well, you'll have a better shot at longevity. So all in all, I did enjoy the album for the most part. It is very long. It's a little bit of a chore to get through because there are some songs on here, as I expected, that don't fit or just weren't necessary. But if I had to give it a score, 1 to 5, I'd probably give it about a 3.8, maybe a 4. I may bump it up to a 4. It was pretty decent. I think even with the Baby's Kirk album, it gets better with each listen. And that's usually the case with most albums. Usually they get better with each listen, and you have to take the meat and leave the bone, so to speak, on both of those albums. Herstory in the Making it has a lot of great solid tracks. I've already downloaded several tracks from it. And so, you know, you if you go into it not expecting a whole lot, much like the Baby's Kirk album, if you go into Herstory in the Making not expecting like the Blueprint or, you know, the Slim Shady LP or something just epic, then you're fine. You'll enjoy yourself. You'll enjoy the ride. She has a lot of good material in here, but unfortunately, it's too much material that isn't really necessary, really isn't great, could have been left off. And even if it was for the purpose of just making up for time, I feel like the best way to make up for time or making fans wait is to drop something that is going to resonate with them for years. They're going to be talking about it for the rest of their lives, for the rest of the year, when years to come, they're going to go back to it. It has a lot of replay value, is what I'm trying to say. When you drop an album, you should feel like they're going to come back to this, and they're going to catch new things every time, and hopefully this music will live on forever. So that's it. That's all, y'all. That's all I got for y'all. Go check out Young M.A's Herstory in the Making. Really decent album. Give it about a 3.8, 3.9 out of 5. And thoroughly enjoy Young M.A as an artist. Please like, share, and subscribe. It's your boy, The Will McCoy, signing out. Oh boy.